Okay guys, Mr Olympia is not far away now, so I thought I'd do my top 10 predictions for this year. I've got the qualified list here in front of you, and there's some really good quality players this year. Whatever the top 10 is, and if I'm right I'm right, but look, if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys that I don't pick turn up in the top 10, because it is a real quality field. There's only probably 2, maybe 3 that I think really have got no chance. Then look, we can cancel out Dennis Wolf straight away, unless he does some remarkable growing in the next month, which won't happen. But other than that, some good stuff. So let's get going with the top 10. In 10th place is a tricky one for me. My emotions are going towards Kevin Levrone, or Levrone, however you want to say it. In saying that, even to make the top 10, he's probably going to have to bring back his best game. If he wants to get above 10, he'd have to bring a better game than he ever had. And at his age, let's be realistic, it's probably not going to happen. If he comes in at his best, maybe 10th place, but it could be a courtesy placing because he has created a lot of buzz. I think his legs these days are just not competitive with the rest of the group. His back is a little shallow for me. It's definitely wide enough, no problems there. His shoulders are just amazing. There's so much to like about this guy's physique, and I just don't think it's going to be there this year. Okay, if things don't work out for Kevin and they decide that, look, they've got to be fair in their placings, I'm really liking Dallas McCarver. He may not be right ready yet, but there's a lot I like about this guy's physique. His legs are very good, nice big sweep to the thighs. His calves are ridiculously big. His upper body is very thick and dense. He has got that unfortunate separation in the abdominals, which isn't a great look aesthetically, but it's a genetic thing, and it'd be hard to mark him down too much if he's really diced. He's got that really strong, powerful look, which I like, and but again, it might just be too early for him. He's only a young guy. What is he? He's probably only 25, 26, something like that. His better days are probably ahead of him. But if he comes in really good shape, really grandy, I think he's probably going to push Kevin out of the top 10. In 9th place, I've got William Banach. This guy, he looks great. He's really got a great physique. He usually comes in really good condition. He's got all the muscle in the world. Everything's very well developed. His problem for me is he's quite narrow. And while Phil is quite narrow as well, this guy can't seem to work around it in his posing to make himself look super wide. And standing next to other people, in comparison, I just think he falls down a little bit. That said, there's not many flaws in his physique. I just don't know what he can do to get to the top level, real top level. I mean, he's in top 10 for me. It's pretty good, but to make it in top 5, I just don't think it's possible. Any more muscle in this guy just look even crazier, and probably wouldn't work. It would work against him rather than for him. So, I think 9th place is a good result, but a disappointing one in some ways. In 8th place, I've got Justin Compton. This is a little bit of a hit and miss choice. I think this guy's got the muscle to do the job. The key is going to come down to conditioning. He's got a really nice leg sweep. He's got probably a little bit high in the lats, but very well muscled back nonetheless, very wide. Great shoulders and arms. Chest is fine. The big concern with me is usually his waist, which can be a little bit bloated, lacking that good separation between the abdominals, and fair enough, he's marked down for it. Now, in saying that, his last result at the Gold State, only a few days ago really, he looked great, and I think he justified his first place finish there. The competition wasn't particularly strong, let's be fair, but he still brought a really good game, and we will see. I think if he brings that same conditioning to the Olympia, I think he's going to get 8th place, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's not in the top 10 at all. But I'm really hoping he does come in how I think he should look, and how he wants to look, and he'll justify that spot. In 7th place, I got Victor Martinez. He's had a really big turnaround in the last couple of months, amazingly so. Put on some good quality muscle and looked very good at the Baltimore back a month ago. Still for me, his legs, and I'm sure this from memory, this is because of injury, are sort of lacking the sweep that they once had. His back, front lat spread, side chest, all those sort of things, I think is still pretty close to what they used to be at his best. And I think that he will get into 7th place. I don't see him getting any higher, I really don't, even if he's dialed in perfectly. I just think those little flaws that have crept into his body over the years with aches and pains and injuries will just hold him back from doing any better. But look, he'll still be in the mix, and probably get a fairly early call out. Okay, in 6th place, and this is probably my most random choice of lot actually, is Cedric McMillan. I just don't know what this guy's going to bring, if he's going to even bring it. I'm not even sure if he's going to compete. He seems to have been very quiet, unlike some of the others. I think he's got he's got the shape, no doubt about it. He's probably got one of the better shapes in the whole competition. He's got lots of muscle, his back is thick, it's wide, good abdominals, great chest, arms. His legs are definitely competitive, without being outstanding. He poses really well. His conditioning, to me, is probably the only thing that's a bit questionable. If he brings it in 100%, I think he's going to get that 6th place. If he's anywhere near off, which he has been at times, his aesthetics, his muscle is only going to get him so far. So look, let's see. I'm placing him 6th, but I could be way off the mark with Cedric, but look, let's see how we go. Okay, the top 5. In 5th place, I've got Remy. And look, he could place higher, he could drift out. It's all going to come down to conditioning. He's got a Cedo in his camp now, and I think that's going to ensure that he's going to come in great shape. He's got as much muscle, if not more, than anyone in any part of his body. His calves are only average, and they're probably only average in comparison to the size of his quads, which are just ludicrous. In fact, they overpower his body a little bit, but not to the point where he looks like Tom Platz for me. He's still got symmetry there. He's got a fairly tight waist, slim waist. His back is thick. It's pretty well detailed. Could use a little bit more perhaps. Chest is huge. Comes in usually in pretty good, decent condition, but not great condition, and that's really going to be key. Look, any other year this guy could be top 3, but I just think this is just a really strong field this year, and some players jumping out of the blue. So we'll see what happens with this one. Could be pushing for 4th, but I'll stay 5th. Okay, in 4th place I've got Raleigh. Every time I call someone out now, I'm thinking every pick is random, but Raleigh has came in this year in some competitions in just brilliant shape. He's another one like Ramy who's got all the muscle in the world, but sometimes conditioning knocks him down. Probably more so with Raleigh than with Ramy though. Look, his shape is not as good as some. He's got the muscle for sure, but it's not as well proportioned as some of the higher guys, or even some of the lower guys for that matter. But he's got a massive amount on it, on a fairly short body. Some of his poses are better than anyone's. His most muscular is in another league from even Phil Heath. This guy is, if he comes in the conditioning he has been in the last 2 shows, I think he's going to get 4th. He's really going to be a big improvement from last year. And he seems like a good guy, laid back fella, and I hope he does well. In 3rd I have Dexter, a drop 1 place from last year. What can you say about this guy? Look, he always comes in shape. His worst shape is still better than anyone else's in conditioning. That said, he really has to be at his 100% best to be right up there, and I think last year he was almost as good as he could be. He looked really good. This year he's saying he's looking better. I don't know if he's looking better, but he's not looking worse. He looks good. He's got a good amount of muscle. His upper body, to me, is better than his lower body from the front. There's nothing really wrong with it. I just think in comparison he looks a bit smaller next to some of these other guys, and I think he'll get 3rd this year. But look, how could you complain with 3rd place? A guy that's getting in his late 40s, he's hardly doing a wrong thing his whole career. Look, you gotta love this guy. Okay, in 2nd place I've got Sean Roden. Now this guy's got one of the best physiques there's probably ever been for me. He's got all the muscle, and last year I really liked his shape. I thought he looked really, really good, but the conditioning was just a shade off. He's trying to bring in a little bit bigger package, and that he did, but missed the mark with conditioning, not by a whole lot, but enough to push him back. I think it was 3rd. Was he 3rd? I think 3rd. And I think that was a fair place last year, but he looks great. He looks great relaxed. He looks great when he poses. There's hardly any poses he looks bad. One thing and it could be just me, but the negative for me is he just looks a bit too laid back. Like he's not really giving his 100% there when he's posing. And I don't know if anyone else would mark him down for that, but for me, I'm just thinking, I don't know. Does he really care if he's there or not? I'm sure he does, and it's just his demeanour. But I don't know. I'll have him 2nd place, but still an awesome result for a guy in his early 40s. Okay, top place I've got Phil. I've talked about Phil in another video before. I just don't think there's a flaw in this guy. If there is flaws in this guy, he knows how to pose around them, so they're not apparent. Of course, his arms are just outrageous. His chest is good. He's got one of the best backs ever now, after being criticised for it early on in his career for not being thick enough, wide enough, detailed enough. He's got all of that now, and probably got one of the best, if not the best back now. His legs are great separation, great thigh sweep, great detail through the glutes. He'll have to be off to lose, and not just a little bit off. If he comes in at 95%, he'll win. I'm hoping he comes in 100%, so there's no one whinging and bitching about his place. But look, I think he's, as far as anyone else I've picked in this top 10, he's as much as certain as anyone for his placing. So I think 6 in a row for Phil.